Hey everyone, happy Sunday. I know it's been a couple days since I posted some content, and apparently some of you were so worried that you actually emailed me checking in to see if I was okay. Yes, I am. The reality is I was just really busy. I was out filming a video for PragerU. I'm so excited about this. It's based on my Trump rally article. I gotta tell you guys, when I saw the script that they wrote for this video, I actually almost cried. It was so good. They did such a good job of translating the thoughts and the emotions from my Trump rally article into an amazing video that I really think is going to be so great for so many people, and I can't wait for you all to see it. Now, you're gonna have to wait a little while. They told me kind of end of July is when it's going to come out, but that was what I was up to. But I'm back home now, and I just thought I'd do a little quick video because it's Sunday. I don't want to do anything too hard. And what I want to talk about today is one passage that I really love from this book called Conversations with God. Now listen, there's a very specific reason that I am bringing this book up, because 1 week from today, on June 14th, I will be doing a book club in my locals community where you're going to get on a Zoom call with me to discuss Conversations with God. So you still have 1 week left to get your copy, to read it. The audio version is fantastic. I've listened to that myself. I have every single different version of Conversations with God because it's such a good book. Now, so a couple of quick things about this book club. Number one, this is not a religious book. This is not a Christian book, okay? Although I do know many Christians who have read this book and find a lot of inspiration from it, it is not a Christian book. I am not a Christian, right? And I do believe that anyone of any belief system, or frankly, even if you're an atheist, that's totally okay. What this book is about is perspective. It's perspective on this human experience and I think it's really more important now than ever, to be honest, because what's going on in the world, the human experience can seem very dark. And a lot of people, for various reasons, are being told that they aren't valuable and they aren't lovable and that they are victims of the world. And it's just not true. It's just not true. We are all the gods of our own experience. That's how I view this book. We are the god of our own experience. I am the god of my experience. You are the god of your experience. And this book provides perspective into our human experience and how we can make it awesome and how we can get everything we want and how we are not a victim of the world. And so I think it's really important to look at things that give you this sort of perspective when there's so much noise out there and so much chaos on the news telling you that you're a victim. You'll never be able to ascend farther than you are. Or maybe you have white fragility or all this nonsense. It's all nonsense. It's all nonsense. You can do. I don't care what the color of your skin is. I don't care what gender you are. I don't care what orientation you are. I don't care if you are ably bodied or not. You can do almost anything you set your mind to. You really can. Life is beautiful, man. Life is a gift. And if we spend time ripping down other people, then we're squandering this wonderful, beautiful gift. So I want to read a passage from Conversations with God in this video and just talk to you about what I think it means, to start to introduce you to how I perceive this text. And I really do think it's an important one. But I just want to say, before I get into that, if you want to join in on the book club next week, again, June 14th, we're going to be doing it on the evening of June 14th. All of the information is available in my locals community. Now, you can get to my locals community by going to kb.locals.com. You can sign up for a free membership, but it does require a premium subscription to be able to take part in the discussions and the activities, stuff like that. That starts like $5 a month. It's really just to keep the trolls out so that it dramatically reduces the amount of moderation that we have to do in the group. Now, if you want a free month, which would give you time to participate in the book club, if you want your first month for free, just use the promo code WELCOME when you sign up, and it will all be taken care of, and all the information about the book club is in my locals community. And then you want to pick up your copy of Conversations with God, book 1. We're only doing book 1. There are several different books, but we're sticking with the basics for this one. All right, so I want to read a section of Conversations with God, and so this is a section where really the blue text that you see here, this is Kindle version. The blue text that you see here, that's God talking. The black text is the author of the book. So the book is a literal conversation with God between the author and God, and that's how it's written. It's written out as a conversation. So anytime you see text in blue, that's God. Anytime you see text in black, that's the author of the book. And so in this part, they're talking about what about evil that's done by men. And I think that's particularly relevant to what's going on now. And if you've watched any of my past videos, you may have already heard me talk about this, but it's one of the passages in the book that I really have thought about the most. So let's just take a look at it. The author of the book asks, "How can this be? What of the evil which has been created by man?" And God says, "You, human beings, you cannot create a thing, not a thought, an object, an event, no experience of any kind which is outside of God's plan. For God's plan is for you to create anything, everything you want." So let's just pause there. What are they saying? They're saying that everything has a purpose, that everything is created for a reason. You know, I was taking a quiz earlier today I was trying to check my privilege with a really old BuzzFeed list of like 100 questions that will tell me how much privilege I have in this lifetime. And it occurred to me when I was taking the quiz that all this is just a list of experiences. And BuzzFeed and all of the other people who are talking about privilege, they're basically making the assumption that it is positive to have a life that is without adversary, without obstacles to overcome, without things that push you to become a more self-empowered person. Now, the way I view the world, nothing is fundamentally good or fundamentally bad. You can always look at something in a positive way. You can always look at something in a negative way. Generally speaking, the truth lies somewhere in the middle. But if you start looking at all these life experiences are bad and all these life experiences are good, and if you have more good life experiences than bad, then you're just a privileged, fragile human being. I mean, bullshit, man. I call BS on that. I really do. And what this is saying is that you, every single person, you are the God of your experience. I am the God of my experience. I can have whatever I want. Whatever I want to create and put energy into, that's what I can have. You can have the same thing. Not a single one of us is a victim. And if we come here, listen, because I believe, you may disagree with this, but I believe that we come here and make certain decisions about the experiences that we want to have here. Now, sometimes a crappy childhood where maybe you have parents that are abusive, or maybe they got divorced, or, you know, any sort of things that lead to a more crappy childhood, sometimes those things are the things that are required to push us into greatness later in life. Think about it. Think about the cool kids in high school, the captain of the football team, the head cheerleader, all those people. Now, if your high school is anything like mine, well, my high school didn't have a football team or a cheerleading team, honestly, but the cool kids in high school, guess what happened to them? Nothing. They stayed in town. They raised their families in the town. Their kids are going to the exact same high school that they went to. Now, there's nothing fundamentally wrong with that, but they haven't gone out and really contributed anything to the broader world. They're just living their lives. And again, nothing wrong with that. Perfectly fine. But you find the people that build things, the people that create things, are the ones with the crappy childhood experiences almost universally, man. Like, think of it. Can you think of anyone that was like the cool kid in high school and then went on to be the uber successful person, like, outside of high school? I mean, maybe onesies and twosies, but typically those people tend to stick close to home because that's where they peaked. So in these cases, negative childhood experiences, something that people would say, oh, that lacks, that's not a privileged thing to have, maybe an abusive family growing up, or maybe you're gay and you're scared of telling your parents because your parents are really very religious and they're going to judge you and kick you out of the house. Sometimes it's those really shitty childhood experiences that we need to push us to great things. And what this is saying is that everything that happens to you, every single thing, is part of a larger plan, and you're a part of a creator. You're part creator of that plan, or maybe whole creator might be an accurate sentiment. Let's keep going. I'm going to read this last one again. For God's plan is for you to create anything, everything, whatever you want. So this is saying God wants you to have whatever you want. God wants you to have whatever you want, whatever is at your disposal. And again, that could be a good thing and it could be a bad thing. If you come here needing to have shitty experiences to excel you into something else, well, man, that's just the way it is, and you made that choice. In such freedom lies the experience of God being God. And this is the experience for which I created you and life itself. Evil is that which you call evil, yet even that I love. For it is only through that which you call evil that you can know good. So let's read that again. Evil is that which you call evil. So things are only evil. Things are only bad when we say they are, when we think they are, when we believe they are. That is what makes them evil. Yet even that I love. Oh, God loves evil. Why would God love evil? For it is only through that which you call evil that you can know good. So what God is talking about here is learning through contrast. And that is where a lot of our education and our experience comes through life. We have experiences we don't like, and that gives us a greater understanding of what we do want in the world. So let's think about the easiest example, the one I give all the time, is the example of a hot shower, because everyone knows what a hot shower feels like. A hot shower is awesome. But say you wake up one day and the water heater breaks and you have to take a cold shower. Oh, nothing sucks like a cold shower, man. Nothing sucks like a cold shower, but it's in the taking of that cold shower that you realize how awesome that hot shower is. That hot shower that maybe you got a little too comfortable in that hot shower and you started to take it for granted. How beautiful that hot shower is because you took a cold one and that made the hot one even better. We learn through contrast. That's what God is saying here. That which you call evil is how you can know good. If we can say, this is wrong, this is bad, I'm judging this as a bad thing, well, then we know what good looks like. And so if evil doesn't exist, if you take that evil away, then how are we going to know what good is? Does that make sense? It all has a purpose. Only through that which you call the work of the devil that you can know and do the work of God. I do not love hot more than I love cold, high more than low, left more than right. It is all relative. It is all part of what is. So in here, God is saying that I'm not judging you. I'm not judging you. If you want to do good things, great. If you want to do bad things, fine. I'm still going to love you. And that's what's so beautiful about this book is, what was I watching yesterday? Oh, I was watching the Mr. Rogers documentary, Won't You Be My Neighbor? And at the end of the documentary, they were talking about how Mr. Rogers created a whole generation of spoiled, entitled children by telling them they're special even though they hadn't done anything. And Mr. Rogers is right. That's what you need to hear. Listen, so many problems in this world are created based on people not loving themselves just the way they are. And what I see in this book and what I feel in my connection with God, and again, I'm not a Christian, but I'm spiritual and I feel like I do have that connection, is that, God loves me unconditionally. I can't do anything that would ever take away that love. And why wouldn't God love me? Because I come from God. You come from God. We all come from a higher spiritual place that I believe we will all understand once we leave this world. And so if that's true, if we come from that higher spiritual place and we are part of God, then why would God ever not love us? It just makes no sense. Why would God not love us? You have to, because we're part of that, right? I do not love hot more than I love cold, high more than low, left more than right. It is all relative. It is all part of what is. And this last one is the one that I think about all the time. I do not love good more than I love bad. Hitler went to heaven. When you understand this, you will know God. And that's beautiful. Hitler went to heaven. Worst possible human being in the history of human beings. And here God is saying, yes, even that. Even the worst of the worst. You do not lose my love. You do not have to do anything special to be reunited with me. because there is no good, there is no bad, there's simply experience. Now, a lot of people find that offensive, and I understand that because you're looking at it from an earthly perspective. And this is the thing, is sometimes we let our offense over things. And I'm not saying the Holocaust was a minor thing. The Holocaust was a huge thing. It was terrible. But what if the reason the Holocaust happened is that now it will never happen again on that scale? Now we have the experience and we have the wisdom that came with that horrible, terrible, I can't even imagine, like, awful experience. What if that gave us the wisdom to never do that again? Maybe that's why it had to happen. And fundamentally, what I believe is that the people who were involved in that made the decision to give that gift to humanity, to give that gift to the collective on a spiritual level, not on a human level, on a spiritual level. Those are two different things. And fundamentally, this is what gets this is what gets me in trouble a lot of times. Is we make different experiences on a spiritual level because we know that we don't die. Really, we know that we're eternal. There's no doubt. There's no fear. There's no lack of security. When we're making experience or decisions on a human level, we're making it with that slight, no matter what, we don't know what happens after we die. So there's always going to be that slight doubt that if I make the wrong decision, I'm done. I'm done, just out in a blink of a light. And that makes sense, right? Our brain is wired to look after our survival. But on the spiritual level, we don't have that. And so it makes more sense when you look at it in that context. Also, to add greater context to this, I mean, generally speaking, hell doesn't exist. Hell is a thing that humans created, and that's part of the philosophy here too. So of course Hitler went to heaven because there's nowhere else to go. Like, just on a very practical level, there's nowhere else to go. But I actually think this is a beautiful line because, if we can look at the worst of the worst, if we can look at the worst thing in humanity and say, there is still a place for forgiveness. There's still a place for acceptance, even of that worst of the worst. Then that means the rest of us are okay. We're okay. And nothing that we ever do is going to piss God off so much that we will lose that beautiful unconditional love. And I think that is a particularly relevant message for today when there is so much bad in the world, so much stupid in the world. Like, I could go on for days. But we don't lose that connection. And so that's really my favorite passage from the book that I just wanted to share with you all. I've actually done this in another video before, so maybe some of you have heard this already, but I know I also have a lot of new followers that maybe haven't heard it. And just let that sink in. Meditate on that idea that, I once did the most powerful experience with ayahuasca that I ever had, because I've done it like several times. The most powerful experience I ever had with it was feeling God's love rain down on me. It was an incredibly powerful experience. And I mean, it was overwhelming, pure joy, pure heart, pure love. It was so, so, so beautiful. And I wish everyone could have that experience. But we can only get those experiences by allowing ourselves to, by believing that gift is available to all of us, because there's not a single human being in the world that I don't believe that gift is available to. Whether it's, you don't have to do ayahuasca to get it, you could do meditation, or you could just let it be, you could just allow. So that's the part of the book I wanted to share with you. There is no good, there is no bad, there is no right, there is no wrong. There's only experience, there's only what we make of it. And when we start to look at our human experience on that level, that it's all just experience, imagine how much self-judgment we can remove from our experience. And that's really what this is about. It's when you understand that you have unconditional love available to you, well, guess what? You're much more likely to be able to give that unconditional love and that unconditional acceptance to yourself. And that's really what's important. Listen, some of you don't even believe in God, and that's fine. But from my perspective, God's love will never not be there. It'll always be there. But the love that actually is most valuable to me on a day-to-day basis is my love for myself, my generosity with myself, my kindness towards myself, the internal security that I provide myself. Those things are actually more important on a practical human level. And those things become so much easier to give yourself once you understand that it's already given to you. It's already done. It's already done. So I really hope you join me for book club. I think it's going to be fabulous. There's so much wisdom in this book. It's really amazing. And again, this is not a religious book. This is a spiritual book, but even if you don't believe, there will still be a lot of things in this book that may provide you with that perspective. And for those who are like, "Oh, I'm not religion, Carlin, come on, please." Dude, trust me. If you come to this book with an open mind, there is wisdom in this book. You don't have to believe in God to apply the wisdom that is in this book. I just think it's incredibly valuable, and I cannot wait to have the discussion with everyone. Again, next week, June 14th, it is in my locals. Make sure, hang on, I'll even get it on the screen. There we go. It is in my locals. Make sure you sign up for it. Get yourself on the list. Make sure you register for the Zoom meeting. All that information is in locals because we will be having the book club based out of Zoom. And again, this is just going to be a private chat. I'm going to be there. We're going to be able to have a discussion about what we saw in this book. We're going to be able to have a discussion about life. It's going to be awesome. I really hope that I see you all there.